Welcome back. It's WMAY's coverage of Glenwood Titan football, and joined now by Glenwood Titan head football coach, Coach David Hay. And Coach, first of all, congrats on the victory week one. Talk to us a little bit maybe about the progression from the first half to the second half, because it looked like that first half was just kind of a feeling out process for both teams.
Well, they came out and played really well. UHI did, and we didn't. We just made silly, inexperienced mistakes in a lot of different areas, offensively, defensively. Did some things that we wouldn't normally do, and we had to get them in halftime and get them settled down and get them with their coaches and make adjustments and change up some things we were doing too. And then we got the ball rolling with that first drive of the second half, and it really just kind of snowballed from there.
You mentioned the coaching staff. How was it being back out there after such a lengthy layoff and with all the different protocols and stuff? What was it like that first quarter just for you and the coaching staff trying to get used to things?
Yeah, it was a little bit of an adjustment. I mean, there's just all kinds of things that didn't feel normal, from the lack of noise to just we haven't done it in so long. 16 months without playing a game, and then any kind of competitive thing either. We hadn't lined these kids up in any way, shape, or form against an opponent since we left the field in East St. Louis. I mean, we hadn't had 7-on-7s. We hadn't been into our Illinois Wesleyan camp. All these different things that we usually do to create a competitive environment beyond ourselves, we weren't able to do.
That being said, then, how impressed were you with Jake Burris' first start at the varsity level at the quarterback position, and how maybe his experience already playing some varsity games helped out to kind of calm the nerves?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got a ton of experience, just not at that position, and the way he was throwing the ball, the way he was running the ball, and the blocking for him too, which is always obviously huge. But the way he was doing things, I think he got up to speed quicker than other people because of that experience. And he'd been in, anytime you're out there in a varsity contest, it's a physical situation, and he'd been in plenty of physical situations.
Do you think that maybe helps stabilize and kind of calm everybody else down because, Jake stays so calm under pressure because he understands the situation?
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd have to ask a kid that really because they're in the huddle with him.
Right.
I'm sure he's a calming presence. He ain't going to get rattled. I mean, he ain't going to rattle that kid. He is not going to get upset, unless he may be more at himself than anything else. But there's nothing in the game that's going to rattle him. And I'm sure those younger kids were looking to him all the way through that, as they have been even during our preseason.
You talked about how you couldn't do anything competitively, but you could do weight room, you could do conditioning, and it looked like as that game wore on that was a huge advantage that you had. It looked like you were just wearing down the opposition. Talk about the kids' commitment to the off-season, off-field program as well.
Well, they spent a lot of time in here.
Right.
Regardless of whether it was in small groups or even tiny groups or whatever, or different pairings so we can pay attention if there's a COVID issue and, you have to track who they've been near. All those things they went through, but the bottom line is they were in this room and they were working really hard in here, and then, working really hard outside and getting the running in. And, there's been a lot of hours, again, more hours in an off season than ever before. In this room before you get to go out there and compete.
This Friday night, you're going to have senior night. Senior night, always a special night for a coach. But is this one a little bit more special because of the fact that you didn't know if you're going to have a senior night for this group?
I said to an assistant, not that long ago, I want him to get into this game because, right now I get emails about teams losing games and needing games, and that means they're getting canceled. And I want to get these seniors to their senior night. And it's in a season without a playoff, in a season without those milestones to try to get to the first, second, third round, state championship, those things. Getting these seniors to senior night, that is an accomplishment, and getting them there safely and getting them there healthy. I'll be glad when that happens.
You talk about getting those emails and seeing those messages about teams scrambling. What does it mean for you and your program where some other programs are seeing numbers lacking? You guys seem to still be strong. Does that kind of speak to how much people are coming around to this program and buying into everything that's going on?
Well, I hope so. I think they are. I think we try to set a standard in this program, and it's a high standard. And there are some kids who do drop out and drop off. It's not something they want to do, and this is a very hard thing to do. But I'm trying to sell them on the idea that if you buy in and you're in the middle of it and you just commit yourself to it and just forget that it's not just know that it's not about you and forget all those things that sometimes the outside world is trying to sell you, that you're gonna benefit from it. I don't care if you're getting the ball 25 times or if you're standing on the sideline, you're gonna benefit from it. And we want to create young men that are mentally tough. We want them to choose hard work over ease, which is a real draw, I think, for a lot of people today. And then we tell them we want them to make the choices that winning requires. And we're talking there about football, but we're also talking about life. I want them to come out of here and be good husbands, good fathers, and a couple cases, good wives and good mothers.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's what we're trying to do. And I think, I certainly hope that that's keeping the kids engaged in it and wanting to be a part of it.
Well, talk about that real quick. You said about good wives. With the females on your team, do you take pride in that and how the rest of the guys have reacted? It seems like a seamless transition. It doesn't even seem like there's any difference at all when you look out there warming up and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, that obviously it's happened, but they've been around now. Those girls have been on the team for a couple of years, and so it's not even a factor anymore. I don't think anybody looks at it as a deal anymore, and they shouldn't. I don't. We don't coach them any differently. They happen to be kickers, so there's a little bit different there just because it's a kicker.
Right.
But they're just members of our team. I don't approach any differently, and I think hopefully maybe because I don't, that our players won't either.
And they would probably respect that even more as well. So this Friday night you got Jacksonville. A little bit, I don't want to say easier, but maybe a little bit for the game planning. Now you have tape on someone. Is it a little bit different preparation this week as opposed to week one?
Yeah, I know what's going to be on the field. I know what they're going to do, because each year, obviously, teams change a lot, especially at the high school level, because you graduate and you move on. So yeah, I know who's going to be on the field. I know pretty much, and they'll have things on, but it is a big difference from a week one to a week two in that regard. In that, I think I know what they do well, and as a defensive coach, that's the way I think. All the time. I feel like you feel more confident that you're going to be prepared because you do have a little bit of video, even though it's only one game.
Well, Coach, appreciate you taking the time. I know it's a crazy season, but you're always so gracious with your time. Appreciate it, and best luck this Friday night against Jacksonville.
Appreciate it as always, Mike. Thanks.